Oh, come on!
Good afternoon and welcome to another video with a guy and his projects. Today we are working on this 2004 Nissan Titan 4x4 and we're going to make it a 2x2. Yeah, that's right. So what we have going on, this should be the same process for I believe most of, if not all of the Titans. We blew out the front diff. Front diff has to come out. We have a used one on order, but it's not going to be here for multiple weeks most likely, so I need this to run and drive because I hate having down vehicles. So we are going to remove the diff and run this in two-wheel drive without a front diff until we can get the new one in. 4x4 going to be not so much a 4x4. I've never done this before. I haven't even looked up how to do it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just jumping in and taking stuff off until I get the results I want, right? It's really loud out there today. So what we're going to do is we're going to jack this up. You should be able to do it from floor jacks if that's what you got. I spent a lot of money on this lift, so I'm going to use the lift. This is not a how to remove and install your differential. This is a how I'm going to remove my differential. Depending on how long before the new diff shows up, maybe we'll install it in this video, maybe that'll be another video. If it is a second video, I will link it down below. Also, linked down below is the majority of parts and tools you need to do this job on Amazon. Also linked below is Zelle, PayPal information if you want to help me and the channel out. Thank you very much, guys. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video when we're getting when you find out what you need to know, and hit the subscribe button. I've got a whole playlist going for this Nissan Titan, so stick around, hang out, grab a cold cup of milk, and watch me work. Alright, so let's see if I can show you why we are replacing the differential. So this is your diff housing. This is where your gears are, right? And then you have this axle tube coming down here. Right here is the end of your axle. That's your axle flange. Same with this side, only of course it's much shorter. I'll show you this axle simply slides out. It's not being held in anymore. So I guess the story goes there's a C-clip in here in the housing that breaks, or the housing itself breaks and wears out on the inside. And supposedly it's a huge known issue by Nissan for the 04s, 05s, and some 06s, I guess. So they updated it in 06, and I guess 06, 07 had an updated diff, and then in 08 supposedly they got an even better one. So the one I have coming is one out of in 08 or later. I don't really know. The guy didn't really tell me. He just told me how many miles, and it's 08 plus. So let's hope for the best. So what we have to do is these brand new CV joints I just put in with these brand new A-arms have to come out. So these are going to come out. Looks like this bushing right here is going to come out. Not bushing, but bolt. This bolt's going to come out. And obviously this CV joint. We're going to have to remove the drive shaft. So the drive shaft goes from here to the transfer case. So we're going to unbolt it here, unbolt it there. Drive shaft's going to come out. We'll probably start with that actually. Beyond that, we're going to remove the entire front axle assembly and drive it around in two-wheel drive until the new diff shows up. Might be asking yourself, is that a stupid idea? I don't know. I don't think so. It looks pretty simple. You got 4 bolts on this side of the drive shaft, 4 bolts on that side of the drive shaft. Oh, you got this cross member. I'm not even sure if this cross member is going to have to come out, but if it does, it's only 2 bolts, so 4 bolts. Your CV axles look like the hardest part of the whole job to take out. I mean, because other than that, you just got 1, 2, and then I think I saw 3 up here, and that's it. So hopefully it's as easy as it looks. We're going to find out here in just a few minutes because we're going to get started with the tires. So we'll take the tires off so we can, oh my gosh, I don't know where I want to start. Let's start with the drive shaft. Speaking of drive shaft, this doesn't look. These are original, that's surprising. Those are kind of weird, but okay. So that could be a pain in the ass to take those off actually, but whatevs, we're going to get to it. So the mic on the other camera's dead as usual, but we got the drive shaft out. Boop, boop. I ended up having to grind the bolts off. There's 8 of them in total, and 6 of them I ended up having to grind off. I could not get them out. They were seized in place. But those are removed. Drive shaft is removed. So now that that's out, the only thing turning the differential is the axle. We still don't want that because we have some broken pieces inside the axle. So as you're rolling down the road, even though it's not connected to the transfer case anymore, that can still mess up and this axle can still back out. So we're still gonna remove the axles and the entire differential. At this point, I think I'm gonna take the tires off and get the CV joints unbolted. Next thing we're gonna do is we gotta take this axle nut off. This is part of the CV. I just put these on. You'll remember in a video very recently. That's when I discovered about the axle situation. So everything should be pretty easy to pull off because we haven't even gone a whole mile. In fact, all I've done is back it out of the garage and back in the garage a couple times and I move it around because until I get this axle situated, I don't want to be running around in this. Come over here, we'll do it on this side while we're at it. You don't want to mess with these threads, be very careful because, well, you gotta get this nut back on when you're done, so. Okay, boom, now we need to get this axle nut out, which I want to say was a 34. I think it was a 34 right here. Nope, too big. Should be this guy right here. I can tell, or this is a 32, but I can tell because it's got anti-seize all over it. Yep, I bust this one out. One-handed. Boop. Gonna come over here. Okay. Boop. Now this should be free. Anti-seize everywhere. Now we gotta go in here and unbolt these, which ironically we just bolted on a couple days ago. Alright, so these are my CV bolts. These are 14 millimeter. You can't really get a wrench on there. Oh wait, you can here, but you can't get them on all of them. So you'll either use a thin walled ratchet socket or a box end wrench. We're gonna use the box end wrench as much as we can. But yeah, all 6 of these need to come out on both sides. So it occurred to me a minute ago that I probably want to drain this fluid before I, you know, twist this thing and pull it out. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this up in here. And this is just a 1/2 inch or a 3/8 drive. We got our drain pan. We're just gonna spin this out. Yeah, there we go. That's beautiful. And we're gonna get all this fluid out of here before we accidentally tip it over on ourselves and spill all this down our shirt. The other note is I was gonna try and get these CV axles out, but I think what's gonna make more sense, instead of dealing with all that, we're just gonna drop this whole diff assembly with the CV arms in place, unbolted of course, and then ideally they'll slide right out. And we just got to put them back in before we put the new diff assembly up. So anyway, I'm going to let this completely drain and then I'm going to start unbolting it. Alright, now this is more or less empty. We're going to go ahead and plug it back up just to keep any additional from spilling out that we don't want. Because I have a tendency to make things very messy that don't necessarily have to be. I think we're at a point where all we really got to do is zipperty-doo-dad this bad boy, this bad boy, and that bad boy off, and I think we're ready to pull this differential out of here, and we'll be a 2-wheel drive truck until the new diff arrives. I'm going to thread this in just a couple of threads just to keep it from falling on accident. Okay. And the other nut. By golly, I think we're ready to drop this differential out, guys. Okay, I'm gonna pick up the front, pull that one out. Okay. Oh, I feel like this is gonna go horribly wrong. Pick up this side. Okay. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be a dumb thing to do by myself. She should be free. Should be. She might be coming crashing down, folks. I get the feeling we're gonna end up getting stuck taking this out. So it's this bushing. This bushing is like stuck in here. goes. There we go. About to get heavy, boys. There it goes. Okay. Break free, my friend. What are we stuck on? I feel like we shouldn't be stuck, but we're stuck on something. Okay, I think we have to take this out. Unfortunately, I think that's where we're at. So let's do that. So all I did is I unbolted the cross brace, used the floor jack to support the weight of this, which honestly it's not that heavy, and then dropped it down, and here we are. Now I'm going to cut this breather hose because I'm going to replace it with the new one anyway. Wow, that was fast. So there's that. We now have the differential removed. We would not have wanted this to drop on our faces underneath the truck. But it is a little bit heavy. Okay, so this is why we're replacing it, because this axle's falling out. That is the whole reason this is happening. You can shove it back in and it kind of stays in place, but it's not a permanent stay in place. So that is coming out, new diff going in as soon as it shows up. Hopefully before this weekend, but probably be a couple weeks. And I can't even turn you off because my hands are greasy. All right, so going back under, before we put this cross brace up, since we got so much room, we're gonna go ahead and just pull these CV joints out, CV axles. They should just pull right out. Not one-handed though, of course. Boot doesn't want to fit behind this boot bump stop for whatever reason. We'll snake her out the other way. Yep, does not want to fit through there, of course. So, let's see about going this route. Nope, not gonna happen. Oh, come on! Why can't you just fit one way or another? That's not really nice. It's not nice at all, in fact. That's quite mean. Well, that blows. That blows a lot of blows. I just assumed that once everything was clear, I would be able to just grab this CV axle and pull it straight out. But it doesn't want to fit between the bump stop and the bump stop mating surfaces. If we could move over this way, it'd probably fit just fine. As it is, it's not fitting. So just go ahead and unbolt the shock on the bottom, which should allow us to push this out a little bit. I'm actually rather disappointed because I just assumed this was going to be gravy train as soon as we got the differential out, but you know how that goes. And this is how it goes. So here we are. Shove this bolt through with a hammer. This is probably not going to yield me the results I want. I can already tell. It's just not going my way. Alright, now let's see if that gives us just enough room to pull this out. It does, alright. Alright, we're probably gonna have to set this down on the ground before I can marry that back together. Alright, let me show you where we're at under the truck. We got our cross brace put back in, and I took these bolts, put that bolt there, and the top bolt up there. There is a risk that these wiggle loose because there's hardly any tension. I did tighten them until there was some tension. Hopefully they don't wiggle loose. Hopefully they don't rattle, because that would be insanely annoying. But that's where we're at. So all that's taken apart, put back together. So now we just got to manage to get these shock bolts back in, which I think we're gonna have to lower it, put it on the jack, and jack up the A-arm to do, because this doesn't want to quite line up, of course. So once we get that in place, we should be two-wheel drive, free flying.
All right, guys, so it's since come to my attention that removing the shock bolt was not the smartest choice. So If you stay tuned, you'll see in a later video that I've already filmed that you can get those CV axles in and out by removing the bump stop. It didn't even occur to me in the time. I don't know why, but the bump stop simply unbolts. I believe it's a 13mm bolt. You just shove it up under the control arm, zing it out, bump stop comes out, your CV axle will slide in and out. Way easier, way better than pulling the shock bolt, mainly because putting the shock bolt back in is a pain in the ass. You gotta drop the truck down, pick up the A-arm, turbo. Sorry. Got the little guy in here with me. And the neighbor's getting ready for work and he likes to go say hi. What was I saying? So, yeah, so way easier just to remove the bump stop. Super easy. If you liked what you saw, make sure you leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, check out my other videos. Got a whole playlist going on this Titan, and they're going to keep on coming. There's a lot to do. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.